Hello, and thank you for joining us today in our study of the book of Psalms. Today we're in Psalm 113, and we have been in this series of Psalms that begins with this phrase, praise the Lord. And here in Psalm 113 rather, we're going to have this yet again. But here in the last Psalm, we had the focus on the one who serves God and the one who is righteous toward God and the attributes that they're going to have. Here, it is once again focused upon God Himself and how God helps man and how God looks at man. It's not a very long psalm, but let's look at some of the things that are stated in Psalm 113. Beginning in verse 1, we read, Praise the Lord. Praise, O servants of the Lord. Praise the name of the Lord. Blessed be the name of the Lord from this time forth and forevermore. From the rising of the sun to its going down, the Lord's name is to be praised. The Lord is high above all nations, His glory above the heavens. Who is like the Lord our God, who dwells on high, who humbles himself to behold the things that are in the heavens and in the earth? He raises the poor out of the dust, and lifts the needy out of the ash heap, that he may seat him with the princes of his people. He grants the barren woman a home, like a joyful mother of children. Praise the Lord. As you look at Psalm 113, we could go through and delve out some lessons like we normally do, but I want to just step through the psalm and notice why the psalmist says God is to be praised for just a moment. He says, first of all, that he is high above all nations. In other words, there is no place for anyone above him. There's no way for anyone to get higher than he is. No king is ever going to outrank him. No leader is ever going to be superior to him. He is high above all nations, his glory above the heavens. And yet at the same time, you come down to verse 6, and it says that he is one who humbles himself to behold the things that are in the heavens and in the earth. In other words, even though he is high above everything else, even though he is so far superior to everything else, he still cares about what happens beneath him. He still cares about what happens to those that are below him. So many times you have individuals who think that they are the highest rung of the ladder, and therefore they perceive themselves as too important to care about the menial things of the people that are beneath them. Not so with God. God is one who is high above all nations, and yet he humbles himself to behold the things that are in the heavens, and not only that, but the things that are in the earth as well. And then the psalmist shows us the extreme to which he's willing to do this. He says in verse number 7 that he raises the poor out of the dust and lifts the needy out of the ash heap, that he may seat him with the princes of his people. God doesn't just care about the rich on earth. He doesn't just care about the mighty. He doesn't just care about those who reach esteemed and lofty positions. God's humility to be willing to see and to behold and to interact with man extends to the point that he is willing to raise the poor out of the dust. And he is willing to help the needy out of the ash heap. He is willing to reach down to the lowest of the low, is the idea, and offer his help and offer his assistance and offer his consideration to them. Even though he is the highest of the high, he humbles himself to interact with the lowliest of men. And then you have the statement in verse 9 that he grants the barren woman a home like a joyful mother of children. You know, in the ancient civilizations, a woman being barren was the greatest shame that there could be. It was a complete, as they would see it, a complete loss of purpose or a complete inability to fulfill one's purpose. And yet, with God, this is not seen as a failure that makes one undesirable, but rather, He has a place for the woman who was unable to have children. He has a place for the woman that the world wants to cast aside. And He gives her a home like a joyful mother of children, like she is one of His own. Praise the Lord. The lesson of Psalm 113 is that while God is the highest of the high in His exalted place and in His power and position, He cares and is concerned about the lowest, the most feeble, and the ones who are disregarded the most among us, and is willing to help and to take care of them. This is the message of Psalm 113, and I hope that these things are beneficial to you. Next time, we'll come back and we'll look at Psalm 114. Thank you so much for viewing the video today, and I hope that you will continue to watch and continue to look at these things as we go through the Psalms. But until next time, have a great day.